No matter how the cachet of the WNBA elevates, remember, it could have been even better. You messed it up. You messed it up.
It's possible that Caitlin Clark received an offer from Europe that would permanently alter the WNBA.
I am never going to financially recover from this.
The WNBA is in disarray as Caitlin. As the likelihood of Clark moving to Europe increases, perhaps you could have considered treating your big star with a little more decency. Caitlin will significantly damage the WNBA, who would watch without CC.
I know she will do her best. I know she's talented, but she's not strong enough and she doesn't have enough experience right now to compete at this level.
These are the folks Caitlin had to deal with throughout the season. You have no experience, thus you can't handle the WNBA, and look what happened. She surged through, shattered records, and left the league in disarray.
This nonsense about things that Caitlin was doing wrong when, in my personal opinion, she was doing nothing but going out there and playing great basketball every night and ignoring the hate that was coming to her from all sides, not only from fans.
Caitlin was left with little choice but to endure the incessant teasing and hostility from these commentators. Enough is enough. She needs a new beginning in a league that genuinely values its best players and prevents them from being singled out.
And look at what the NBA became. Even when Jordan was ascending and the league clearly saw that that was the dude, and Nike was marketing the living hell out of Michael Jordan. I want to be like Mike. It was still Bird and Magic.
According to reports, Caitlin Clark has been offered an incredible deal to perform in Europe. It appears that she is prepared to accept the offer, but there is more to the tale. Despite all the attention, admiration, and unquestionable impact she has had on the game, Caitlin Clark has faced many challenges in the WNBA, from the league's inability to adequately protect its star players to the lack of proper support on the court. These challenges have culminated in what may be one of the most shocking career decisions we have ever seen in Caitlin Clark's life. Caitlin has finally had enough of the way she has been treated in the WNBA, and after enduring innumerable frustrations, she is finally making the decision to leave the league. Choosing to leave the WNBA for Europe, let's face it, the WNBA hasn't always treated Caitlin Clark with the deference or consideration that a player of her caliber deserves. Whether it's the lack of protection on the court, the persistent harassment from other players, or the league's apparent lack of interest, it's obvious that Clark has had enough. Time and time again, we've witnessed opposing players get away with using excessive physicality when protecting Clark, frequently going overboard with aggressive and occasionally dangerous play. It's almost as though the league has permitted these tactics to continue unshot.
You weren't making a basketball argument. You weren't making a basketball argument.
We're not saying
No, Andrea, I'm not going to let you do that.
Go ahead,
Andrea, I'm not going to let you make it seem like Caitlin Clark was averaging 5 points a game. At the time, she was still averaging 16 points a game, which was more than a lot of other guards that made the team. So don't do that. Don't make it seem like she was averaging 5 points and this was like a handout.
No, it wasn't a handout.
Look at her numbers. Look at her numbers comparable to the other guards that were on the team. That's all I'm saying.
You could even argue that the WNBA has allowed this behavior to continue because they are aware that Clark's presence on the court attracts attention and increases viewership. After all, a little drama gets people talking, but for Caitlin, the lack of protection has gone too far. Fans have taken notice of the outcry on social media platforms from her supporters, who have been demanding more protection, fairness, and respect for their favorite player, but little to nothing has changed. Clark feels abandoned, almost as if the league didn't care enough to make the necessary changes.
Many people are watching women's basketball right now. It all started from the national championship game, and I've been dealing with this for 2 years now. And understanding, negative things have probably been said about me, but honestly, I'll take that because look where women's basketball is. People are talking about women's basketball, but you never would think that we'd be talking about women's basketball. I'll look back in 20 years and be like, yeah, the reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person. It's because of me too, and I want y'all to realize that.
And now that she's had enough of the league's disregard and has made the decision to take charge of her career by leaving the WNBA behind, Caitlin Clark is finally listening to her fans after suffering season after season of unfair targeting and mistreatment. Clark is looking for a new chapter where her immense the WNBA is on the verge of going through a major downturn because they failed to realize how important Caitlin Clark was to the league's success. With Clark gone, The WNBA will suffer an immediate hit in both viewership and revenue. There's no need to sugarcoat it. Talent, dedication, and impact on the game will be truly valued the way they should have been for a long time. Whether they were casual viewers or ardent basketball fans, Caitlin Clark was a huge draw for the league every time she took the court.
The fact that she was getting all of that, yet all of these eyeballs were coming to the league because of her. The Indiana Fever was turning away games into home games.
Now that she's leaving, the WNBA faces the monumental challenge of filling that gap. Sure, there are other talented players in the league like DJ Carrington and Angel Reed, but let's be real, they don't possess the same ST power or magnetic appeal that Clark brought to the game. And that's not to discredit their abilities. Both are phenomenal athletes, but Caitlin Clark was operating on a completely different level. She wasn't just a player, she was a movement. People weren't just drawn to the WNBA, they were drawn to her. Her fearless shooting ability to take over games and competitive spirit made her a must-watch athlete. Fans didn't tune in to WNBA games for the league, they tuned in to watch Caitlin Clark play. With her departure, the WNBA is only beginning to realize the depth of the Caitlin Clark effect. Losing Clark means losing millions in revenue, ticket sales, merchandise, TV deals, sponsorships. It's all going to take a massive hit. And the worst part, it was entirely preventable. The league had every chance to make Caitlin feel valued, to protect her on the court, and to offer her the support she deserved as the face of the league, but they didn't.
Draft day viewership, which is up 400% to 40%. Between ticket sales, which is up 93% to 16%. Between regular game viewership, which is up 180% to 20%. What Caitlin Clark has done is grown the WNBA exponentially. She did in 5 weeks what would have taken 5 years. And as it pertains to draft viewership, she did in 5 days.
They allowed problems to fester, and now they're going to pay the price. Caitlin Clark's departure signals a turning point, one that could have disastrous consequences for the WNBA's future. The numbers being thrown around are staggering enough to stop anyone in their tracks. According to multiple sources, the contract she's been offered in Europe far surpasses anything the WNBA has ever put on the table in the EuroLeague, where players are treated like royalty. Caitlin is being given a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to play fewer games, which will allow her more time to recover and play at her.
There could be a team overseas who would love to snatch Caitlin Clark away from us and give her a crazy offer. I mean, Ice Cube was about to give her $5 million to play in less than 10 games in the Big Three.
Europe is not only offering Caitlin a contract, they're also giving her the opportunity to represent the entire league. Imagine Caitlin walking onto the court as the lights go down and thousands of fans roar with thunderous applause. The energy in those crowded arenas is tangible, with every roar from the crowd echoing through the stadium as she steps up to take a deep three. However, this time, things are different. The fans aren't there merely to watch a basketball game. They're there for her. The EuroLeague is fully prepared to make her the face of their brand, treating her like the international superstar she is.
Caitlin Clark, it seems like this entire season, she was the solution for so many things, but so many players, coaches, media people, so many people were also painting her out to be the problem. She could never do enough. She could never speak out enough. Her fans were the issue. Fever fans were the issue.
It's not just about Europe providing Caitlin with a new stage to dominate. It's about positioning her as the biggest basketball star in the world, with packed arenas full of devoted fans who respect and celebrate her every move. It's clear that Caitlin Clark is about to step into a new realm of greatness. This is her moment, and Europe is ready to make sure she shines brighter than ever before. But Caitlin isn't the only one making major moves. Other WNBA players are also starting to follow the same path, seeking better opportunities overseas. Kelsey Mitchell and Alyssa Smith, for example, have reportedly decided to spend their offseason playing in China, while Caitlin is headed to Europe. This trend is rapidly growing among WNBA players as they realize that playing internationally not only offers significantly more money, but also provides better overall treatment. The WNBA's pay structure simply cannot compete with what international leagues are offering, both in terms of salary and the quality of the experience.
How's it feel? Do you care?
When you compare the schedules, pay, and player care offered overseas, it's easy to see why more athletes are choosing this path. However, Jason, players like Caitlin, Kelsey, and Alyssa are seeing the benefits of fewer games, more rest, and higher earnings, making the decision to play internationally practically a no-brainer. Whitlock believes Caitlin should star an unrivaled league, a league where the best of the best compete against each other in the off-break of the WNBA. This would lead to players like Kelsey Mitchell and Alyssa Smith not needing to travel abroad to earn their wage. Instead, they can make their money in America with an unrivaled league full of talent. This will give players better opportunity, and they will be able to make something out of this rise of talent. In the women's game, we have some incredible prospects coming through, yet they aren't going to receive the pay they deserve. Instead, they will have to generate their income through sponsorships. But this unrivaled league idea adds a whole different spectrum to the table. Back to Caitlin Clark and the WNBA, this shift should serve as a massive wake-up call for the women's basketball. The league is at serious risk of losing not just Caitlin Clark, but other top players as well. If the WNBA doesn't step up and reevaluate how they compensate and treat their athletes, they could face a mass exodus of talent. The reality is clear: players no longer have to settle for less when international leagues are willing to offer them so much more. If the WNBA wants to avoid an even larger talent drain in the future, they need to rethink their priorities. And fast.
Molly, I said...
Really, Molly? Wow.
They jumped on...
The most startling aspect of the whole situation is probably the WNBA's apparent lack of effort to keep Caitlin Clark. There was no significant offer, no grand gesture, nothing to show how valuable she was to the league. In fact, they essentially let her leave without a fight, which is a perplexing decision. The WNBA allowed Clark to slip through their fingers despite the fact that she had the potential to be the biggest star in American sports and a once-in-a-generation talent. This is a monumental mistake for a league that has been working hard to increase its fan base and compete on a bigger...
Basketball has really consumed my life for a year, so I feel like it'll be good for me to kind of reflect back on everything that's happened. Like, I feel like I didn't even have time to really reflect on my college career because it ended so fast.
And now that she's had enough of the league's disregard and has made the decision to take charge of her career by leaving the WNBA behind, Caitlin Clark is finally listening to her fans after suffering season after season of unfair targeting and mistreatment. Clark is looking for a new chapter where her immense the WNBA is on the verge of going through a major downturn because they failed to realize how important Caitlin Clark was to the league's success. With Clark gone, the WNBA will suffer an immediate hit in both viewership and revenue. There's no need to sugarcoat it. Talent, dedication, and impact on the game will be truly valued the way they should have been for a long time. Whether they were casual viewers or ardent basketball fans, Caitlin Clark was a huge draw for the league every time she took the court.